I address the question of how can we explain economic inequality in our time, which is perhaps the most pressing social issue facing us today. And it interests me, and I think it's of general interest because um, with popular movements like the one, we are the 99%, they've drawn attention to the massive scale of the inequality characterising our world. And more than that, the power of such wealth concentration to subvert the very basis of democratic societies. So I'm trying to join a larger research project that's ongoing, but focusing specifically on the financial elites and how financial elites work with and in and part of a system of financial capitalism. And in a sense, how they are not just sort of accidental benefactors, but that they are the engines and products of financial capitalism and the growing economic inequality that has characterised it. So what the research tries to do is there's a tendency within the social sciences to focus on structures and maybe to the exclusion of the actors who benefit and drive from, the changes. Within popular discourse, there's equally a tendency to focus on the individual bad guys, the bad eggs, the rotten apples of capitalism, and to leave aside an emphasis on the structures that enable their rise. So I am putting forward the claim that we should deploy critical realism as an underlabourer for the social sciences because of the way this enables us to link structures to agents and explore their mutual influence. My research, I believe, is important because it addresses the defining social problem of our time, which is economic inequality and the growing gulf between the haves and the have-nots. I think it's particularly important because it addresses a small subgroup within the super rich, who I'm calling the financial elites of global capitalism, and how these financial elites are able to create the very systems that enable their own enrichment. We're living in a situation where there's a corporate race to the bottom in terms of taxation, where the concentration of wealth is subverting the very democratic bases of societies. And I think it's really important for the social sciences to address this problem, not in their sequestered disciplines, but together. I think, given that it's perhaps, along with environmental destruction and climate change, one of the most urgent issues of our time, there needs to be a programmatic and coherent effort across the social sciences as a whole to join forces and to build on strengths that might otherwise be separated from each other in order to address this problem. I think the research is important because critical realism is one of the sort of big paradigms within the social sciences that explicitly allows us to link work in different disciplines, that allows us to draw together work from economics, building on what Piketty has done, but also work within the fields of sociology and even work within the field of moral economy, using distinctions like earned and unearned income to justify the social scientific emphasis on the illegitimacy of the wealth that's accrued through unearned income, which is really what's happening with the financial elites in global capitalism.